My name is Grant Swanby. I'm an actor and an acting coach, acting teacher, and I've been acting professionally for like about 35 years now, which is a long time, and you learn quite a lot from being at the coalface for a long time. I started off actually by accident. I had done a little bit of acting at school when I was in high school, but we didn't have drama as a subject. So I kind of just did a few plays and I thought it was interesting, but I didn't really think of it as anything. And then when I was about to finish school, I did a play, and a professional actor was a cousin of somebody who was watching a play and came to me afterwards and said, "Dude, you should really think about it." And then I didn't. And then I didn't know what to do. I had no clue what I was going to do with my life. And so I was living in Durban at the time. I grew up there. And I went to the University of Technology to do an aptitude test to kind of work out what it was going to be. I think top of my list was kind of car salesman or something. And I went for this aptitude test, and it came out that I should become an actor or a teacher. And so life turned out that I became both. But what happened is that once it said I should become an actor, I thought, okay, well, after that person said something, well, let me give it a whirl. So I went over to the drama department right there, and I said, "Hey, I want to be an actor." And they were like, "Well, where's your audition and whatever?" And I was like, I don't really know. And so they were very kind and gave me a chance, and then accepted me. I think they didn't have enough guys or something. And it was kind of as if it was like a duck to water. It was kind of as if I just found my tribe, found my place. And within a year, I was fully into it. I was kind of getting good roles at the school and everything. And then it was, as I said, a long time ago. And what they had is they used to have, every province had an acting troupe that was attached to the big theatre. So like in Cape Town at the Artscape Theatre, they would have an acting troupe. They've got one now at the Baxter. But they would have these around the country. And they would go around to all the parts, tertiary educational schools, and audition people. And then if you were lucky enough, you'd get invited back to callback auditions, et cetera, et cetera. And I was called back, and I was like, well, blown away. And then I got into two, one in Cape Town, one in Durban and one in Johannesburg. And so then I chose the one in Durban because the acting group was really young, and it was dynamic, and it was a very exciting young troupe of actors. And I spent a couple of years there, and it really honed my craft. It was theatre at the time. There wasn't that much film back then. Really honed my craft. And then went up to Johannesburg, traveled abroad for a bit, went up to Johannesburg, started acting as much as I could, theatre, whatever. And then I got a break on a soap opera called Isidingo, which was like a really popular soap opera. This was like in the early 2000s. And I spent 4.5 years there. And then I really learned a lot because, you work in every day. And although, soap operas, maybe the quality is not as great in terms of the acting, but I learned a lot about acting in front of a camera. And also what it did is, in those days, people still watched regular television and even the SABC. And so I got into people's homes, like massive. And what that did is it just gave me a bit more profile. And then from then, I've just started, started as a professional actor in film and television. And I've done, a fair amount of work since then. And now I decided to give something back over the last number of years. And I have become an acting teacher as well, an acting coach, so that I can take maybe some of the stuff that I've learned and put it back into the industry. I've been lucky enough to act in everything from sort of on-stage Shakespeare's to, as I said, soap operas, to big international features, to small indie features. I work in English, I work in Afrikaans, accents, whatever I can do to get a job. And that kind of leads me to where I am today. That also then leads me on to what does it take to be an actor? And for me, it's an interesting thing, because now that I'm an acting coach and I work with young people and I work with professional actors, is the most important thing that you need to do is to get very good. It sounds really stupid. But so many, especially young people, when they get into the profession, they think it's all about the hype, and it is. Make sure that you've got your profiles up, your whatever it is, your Instagram, whatever your vibe is. Make sure that you really, really, really have a big profile on that and people know who you are. But that's not what it's about. It's about the audition. It's about getting in there and absolutely nailing an audition. And how do I do that? Well, I make it about the other person. I never make it about myself. I make sure that I'm fully prepared. I make sure that I know all my lines. I make sure that I looked at all my subtext. I make sure that I answer my given set of circumstances questions, my who, what, why, when, who am I, what am I doing there, what is my relationship. I do all of that work, and then I absolutely let it go in the moment, and I make it completely about the person I'm acting with. And that you need to do to get the audition. Remember, the audition is kind of the gate. You can't be an actor unless you nail the audition, because the audition gets you the job. So you're like, oh, well, I'm not working because I'm not doing good auditions, so I can't act, so I can't audition. So get really good at auditions, and then you will allow yourself to get into the job, to get the job. And then when you're in the job, every time you're in a scene, make it about the other person. Make them look really good. And as soon as you do that, there's this really strange thing that happens. As soon as I give my energy out to somebody I'm acting with, I allow the space for the camera to come find me and come find who and what I have to say. And we can talk about so many things about, how to do all of that. But the most important thing is, remember that if you are able to do that and you work to be the best actor that you can ever be, as soon as you get into an audition, even if they don't consider you look right or are right for a role, you're going to sit in the mind of either the casting director or the director. And later on, they will think, wait a minute, that person that came in, they might do it in the moment. They might go, hey, have a look at this role. You might not be right for the role that you went to audition for, but have a look at this role. You might be great at that. And then that's going to help you. Or they'll remember you for later on. Or the casting director will remember you for later on because you prepared and you worked at your craft. And then they might think, wow, that person was not so kind of suited towards that role, but what about this one? And then they will get you to do that. To become an actor is really, really hard. To sustain yourself. A lot of young people kind of think a successful actor is one that's made it in Hollywood, one that has made a lot of money. A successful actor is anybody that can sustain themselves acting. That is what a successful actor is across the world. An A-list, a famous actor is a successful actor who's got lucky and potentially is very good. So a combination of those things. The best thing you can do when you're starting out, and this may sound really, really terrible, is get a job. And I'll tell you why. Because the worst thing that you can do is be so desperate about your acting. When I say get a job, I don't necessarily go and get a 9 to 5. Get a way of making yourself some money. Because what happens is, as soon as you get out there, you're waiting for the phone to ring. You're starting to get a bit desperate. You're like, I really need this. I really need to pay the rent. I really need to do that. I really need to do that. And then as you go into that audition, remember I said you got to nail the audition. As soon as you go into the audition, what happens? You reek of desperation. And they can smell that. And it's being overly dramatic, but what happens is that you come in there with a kind of an innate sort of, as I say, a sort of desperate energy. And that people feel sort of subliminally, subtextually, they feel it. And there's something about a director, when they're wanting to find someone to work with, it's not only about how brilliant you are, it's like, do I really want to work with this person? I've got to spend weeks with this person. And you walk in there, you're calm, confident, you're not, I don't have to have the job. I'm the right guy for the job because I'm not that desperate. My side gig may not make me a hell of a lot of money, but it's just covering what I need to do my passion. And then you'll find that you'll book more jobs because you're not desperate. I run the program at ACT Cape Town, Film Acting Academy, which is a small film acting college in Cape Town. Tertiary educational level. We offer, we don't do a degree yet, we do high certificate, advanced certificate, and we have a professional year, and I can tell you about why we do that. But nevertheless, we offer that program, but we solely do acting, and mostly acting for camera, although we do some stage. What we did when we put together the curriculum is that instead of kind of looking at what I need to be to become an actor, what I did is we looked at what it took to be an actor and what do I not need to learn. And we left all of that out and completely focused on what you need to do to be fit for purpose, to be a very good actor. So we focus on strange things like hitting marks, acting in shot sizes, and all the regular stuff, subtext, how to play in different genres, all of the kind of really meating acting stuff. And what we do is we kind of leave out as much as we can history of this and who did that and what. We do some of that. So that is why we focus on high certificate, advanced certificate. As soon as we do a degree program, we have to really up our academic content and then pull back on our practical content. The course is really practical over the 3 years, and by the time we get to third year, we do directing, writing, all kinds of, you script your own films, you write short films, you do design, you do production. We bring you, like, really empower people to be really more than just actors, but people in the profession. We also offer short courses, and then for the youngsters, kids and teens. Check it out, check out our website, and give us a shout if you need to. We can give you more information.